All right. So double barrel non-duality, we have every single month. It is for sustaining members and above. And it's all over Zoom. The announcements will always be posted under the um, posts or community tab on your YouTube channel, um, on my page, my channel page. And usually around the beginning of the month, I'll post that. So everyone will know who is a sustaining member who will, and above, they will know what time we are doing this. And it's a little bit different every month. So let's see here. I ask that everybody kind of try to keep themselves muted unless they are talking, asking questions, etc. Um, Otherwise, we get interruptions in the sound recording and so forth. So this is also recorded and it does get posted on my channel. So if you have a question, just raise your hand. The way you do that is go to, I think it's under reaction. Anyway, yeah. And then I'll call on you. So let's get started. Let's start with Jerry. Jerry was the first hand up.
Hello,
Hey,
hi
Jerry.
Angela.
How's it going?
Um, I'm doing okay. Feeling a bit anxious, but I still wanted to talk to you.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I'm feeling a lot of fear. But there's also like a sense of calm that it's all okay. Weird. Yeah, and lately, like I've noticed that like it's kind of hard to hide my feelings, like from other people and even from myself. Like a few days ago, I was in university at the lab, and like I suddenly started feeling a lot of shame. It was so intense, like it was just shame, and like I was fully here. Um, yeah, I don't know why I'm feeling like a lot of fear right now.
Okay. Yeah, just feel it. Where do you feel that in your body?
Um, in my heartbeat is fast, and there's like something in my throat,
Hmm.
and maybe like a fear of going there.
Hmm. Do you want to go there?
Yeah,
Okay, just go there. Yeah, just feel it. Just let it be what it is. Let it do what it's doing. Yep, you're okay. Good. Good. Yeah, that's right. Yep, just breathe along with it. Good. Hmm. We're not trying to control it, change it, anything like that. We're just feeling. Try to get right to the center of it, right to the core of how it feels to be there, to be with that. And just notice where it is and how that sensation is. Notice if
yeah, I
it
feel like
feels, go ahead.
my hands are tingly,
Yeah, if you
and
breathe
my
fast, your hands will get tingly. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. It's kind of like holotropic breath work. But you can also slow your breathing down just purposely to slow it down a little bit, and you can still feel the experience. Not trying to control the sensation or feeling, just feeling it. And again, try to feel it kind of from the inside, like right at the core of it, rather than entertaining thoughts about it and so forth. Yeah. And you might want to slow your breathing down just a little bit. Yeah. And feel how it moves up, if it's moving upward, like up through your neck into the head or downward. Also, if it feels like it moves outward, like beyond the body, just feel it. Feel your arms, feel the sensations in all of your body.
It feels like
Yeah. You're you're okay. There's no reason to like describe it necessarily. Just feel into it slowly, gently. Yeah. Slow the breath down a little bit. And you can also set your hands on your thighs, your leg, just touch your body. Just keep your attention on the groundedness, the fact that you're here physically.
yeah, I can't even move my fingers.
That's from the that's from breathing fast. Yeah. Yeah. It's called carpal spasm. It'll settle. But yeah, if you breathe really fast, you'll get a lot of spasm in your fingers and all that. But it'll go away. How do you feel now?
I feel calm.
Good. Yeah. Just settle into that calm. Okay. And you can check in with me again towards the end.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Yeah, you're welcome.
Hmm.
Thank you. All right. Let's go to Marjoline.
Hi, Angelo.
Hello.
Hi. I've got a question about physical. Um, I haven't prepared myself, so
That's
I have to
okay.
change in English.
I'm
If you have
unprepared as well.
like, perfect. If you have like physical, like cramp, or like I've got for a couple of weeks like really serious back pain in my stomach and my left side, and it's going upwards. And last night I was like, um. Awake as usual. And then I meditated, and then I realized that there was like rejection, no resistance on being me, giving my boundaries and stuff. And, just because I was feeling the pain and really surrendered to it. And then I realized that there was like a judgment towards myself to give my boundaries, to really be me, I don't know how to say it, but I recently grounded, so I'm still getting there. But how can you? And I was listening to your interview last night with you and I don't know another guy, and it's called Warrior, something Warrior, whatever.
Hmm.
And there was like something happening, like a transmission in energy, and something shifted, and that's when I got the insight about the resistance. And then I realized like, okay, it's hard to not to please and to say what you really feel. No, it's not mine, it's not personal, but just to not get in the way with your ego, just to say what you feel or to let it go. And but how can you, because you work as well in like normal hospital, like regular health care. how do you know the difference about when it's like really physical or an emotional um, um, cause and effect, like physically expressed in your body, or because
I,
I
I'm
tend
not
I
sure if I
tend to
understand what you're asking. Sorry.
okay, I will try to I tend to put when I have something physically, physical pain, I tend to search like emotionally, energetically. I don't I, I hardly go to a doctor because it's something I don't feel like, but sometimes you have to, but I tend not to. How can you know the difference when it's really physical and you should go, or is that even true? Because we're not our body. What is your view on that?
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, I always tell people consider the possibility that what you're experiencing is a primary medical issue because they happen, right? You can have an appendicitis or you could have, an injury to a joint or a bone or like these things happen for sure. So I tell people don't always disregard pain or, some a new dysfunction or something, a neurologic problem because it could be something that you probably want to get treated for directly through medicine and so forth. But if you have Kundalini and energetic symptoms and even energetic pain tends to have a certain feel to it, has a certain like energy signature. But if you're not sure, you should always get checked out, in my opinion. On the other hand, if you have been checked out and it's kind of a persistent, sort of vaguely um, patterned pain or something like that, over time, you'll start to recognize, okay, this is probably not primarily medical at all. And you kind of get a sense of what that is for you. But everybody's a little different with this. So, Gangaji tells a story of a friend of hers that had some new neurologic symptoms and she ignored it because she thought it was Kundalini or energy and it was brain tumor. So, that's an extreme example, but it's just an example that, of course, we inhabit these bodies that can have problems. So it's good to keep that in the back of your mind. But if it's something that you've had a physician look at or whatever, and there's nothing super dangerous going on, and so forth, then it's just a matter of like how do you want to approach that, feeling into it, looking at resistance patterns, emotional patterns in association with it, and so forth. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. But not but. And
Uh-huh.
I don't, because yeah, you work in a hospital, but you are awakened, and I'm not. Both of them, and there's like a slight tendency not to go to the regular, medicine, because you also said, you can take medicine, and let's say, or like you have cancer and they have like chemo. I don't believe in that. It's not. I don't mind if somebody else believes it, but for me, it's like, to put chemical in your body. And I just wanted to know how your view is. For me, it's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm still struggling with that, because for me, it's like,
Yeah.
it's all, most of the time, it's like emotional and energetic. It's like, even if you have a brain tumor, it's something, I don't know if you know the Dr. Hammer, like the biologic laws, and it's,
Not sure. No,
no,
but I'm not sure. I'm not familiar.
no. That's a shame, because then we can't relate to that. But he used to be a doctor, and then his son died, and then he got cancer, and then he examined that, so he made a whole study on that. That there's like a trauma, like a moment, and then something happens, and I believe that, or it's not believing, it's like it resonates with you. But and we're not our body, and we are physically dying one day, so
Mm.
how it's just curious how you see that, because
Yeah,
from your
it really depends on the situation. I mean, I don't want to get into like tons of details about medicine, but it really depends on the situation. For instance, something like Hodgkin's lymphoma, like it's like cancer of like the lymph tissue,
mm,
used to be a death sentence. If you got Hodgkin's lymphoma, you were going to
mm,
die. But now there are radiation therapies for it that are essentially curative almost every single time. So that's just, it's up to you. Like if you have it, do you want to not treat it and know you're not going to live probably very long, or treat it and know it'll almost certainly go away? So that's just one example of something where certain treatments are very effective. There are many things where treatments aren't very effective. So it really depends on the situation, the person, and all of it. Ultimately, it's totally up to you, of course. I mean, natural is natural, and it's natural to get viruses, and it's natural to have cancer. These are natural mutations in our DNA and so forth. So it's really up to you and what you want to do or don't want to do. Ultimately, that's the way I look at it. I don't have an opinion on what anyone else should do.
I'd love to
Mhm.
comment on this.
Yes, please do, Lisa.
Yeah, Marjolaine, I happen to really kind of lean a little bit more to the way that you're speaking about it. Although I have to
Mhm.
admit that, of course, anytime there's a serious situation, it warrants
Mhm.
seeing a doctor. Um, During my waking up process, I had incredibly weird, different kinds of things happening to me that all seemed to spontaneously disappear as the awakening deepened. So I tend to be more on the sideline of saying, this is largely energetic. This physical thing that's happening is related to trapped energy in the body and so forth. But of
Mhm.
course, I went ahead and I had some very unusual gastric issues happening over a fairly long period of time. And after they'd been going on for a little while, they were significant enough and alarming enough that I went and had the whole panel of stuff, colonoscopy, barium swallow, blah, blah, blah. And in the end, it's like, sorry, but you're totally normal. There's absolutely nothing going on. There was seriously symptoms. So, yeah, I think that it's possible that these caught energies in the body can really affect the body significantly, and they can disappear with further awakening. So, but doctors are great. I love doctors. My dad was one.
You
So,
should love your dad for sure. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Marjorie. Thanks, Lisa.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll go to the middle here. We'll go to Soto's iPhone.
Yo, what's up, man?
Hey,
Can you
hey,
hear me?
I can, yeah. How you doing?
Perfect. I'm doing well. Um, my question, I feel like, has shifted since I heard you talking with Jerry. Um, Initially, I wasn't really feeling anything in my body, so I was gonna ask a different question, but um, regardless, I guess I've been kind of investigating like the nature of my attention um, for a while, and I guess I'm just kind of confused about it because whenever I talk to my friends, they kind of meet me with a skepticism that like throws me off my questioning. And so I don't know, I've just gotten like internally confused about what's going on because what what I've noticed about my attention is that it feels like it has direction, like an arrow, right? And when I noticed that, I started playing around with the different directions that I could point it in, And when I first started noticing this, I found pretty consistently that if I point my attention like directly up, it would like trigger like a sensation of like joy or like happiness, you know? Um, and so for a while, I kind of experimented with, trying to keep myself oriented like that. Um, but uh, two things, or maybe three things. I don't want to overload the question, but I guess all connected with this is like one, I can't tell if it's my imagination that's directing this because it's like I don't necessarily see an actual arrow as I move it, but I can. You know what I'm saying? Like that, there is an aspect of I have a very vivid imagination, and I can see like an arrow that almost helps me anchor, like, okay, go up, or, you know what I'm saying, go in, or wherever I want to point it. So one aspect of like, I'm not sure if I'm mistaking like the actual sense of attention with my imagination. Uh, the second aspect that is kind of tripping me up is like it feels like the origin of this is like in the back of my head, like at the kind of nook of my cranium, maybe where the top of the brainstem is. Um, and it feels like sometimes that's more concentrated or sometimes it's more diffuse, but it always kind of seems to be originated right there, and when I bring myself kind of into that space, like I feel incredibly present, you know? Um, but when I've talked about it, people kind of have just met it with like, oh, you're just in your head. You need to get into your body. And I've always tried to like move down into my body, but every time I observe my body, it still feels like it's coming from that place. You know what I'm saying? So I guess I don't have a I don't the last part isn't necessarily a question, but I guess as you were talking to Jerry, I started to notice this familiar kind of like black hole sensation in my chest. And I decided to kind of point that attention down like into it, you know? Um, and that uh was new for me. I I don't even know how to explain what happened. It does feel like it shifted a little bit. But I guess I just wanted to mention that because that came up. But okay, so let me summarize. If I have a question, it's like, um, is it wrong that I'm feeling it? You know what I'm saying? In this location? Um, man, I don't even know how to phrase this. It's like the words kind of lose me, but I'm just trying to like explore it, and sometimes
Mhm.
I feel like I'm just getting lost.
Yeah, you don't have to have
Um,
a structured question necessarily. I get what you're pointing at
you get what
and
I'm
what you're
pointing at?
talking about.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Lisa, did you want to start, or do you have anything to start to say to start with, or shall I start?
Yeah, I just quickly would say, perhaps you're,
Soto, Soto, do you want to say hi real quick so she can see your face?
Okay, hey, how's it going?
yeah, hey, I think that I'm tracking what you're saying, and towards the end there, the question of is it wrong for me to be feeling there? That's the only thing that kind of stumbled me up. Like, okay, I think
Mm,
you're thinking too much about what's happening, perhaps.
mm,
Another thing that you said was when you first felt the feeling in your chest, that was the direct experience. You felt the feeling in your chest because that's what you said.
mm,
And then you mentioned, and then I directed the attention down to it.
right.
So what I would encourage you to do is to go back to the original direct sensation. I felt my chest and just feel it.
Mm,
There's nothing wrong with what you did, but I think that it's bringing the mind into the mix a little bit more than it needs to be at that point.
okay.
Try to really anchor into that direct experience and that you will be able to and can feel it equally without the help of what you're talking about here, I believe.
Mm.
How does that land for you?
So you're saying like before I direct my attention down, like just feeling it,
Yeah,
kind of like not trying to direct my attention anywhere.
exactly. Because
Okay.
you knew where it was because you said it. I felt it
Right.
in my chest. Boom, end of
Right.
story. Feel that. No need to add this extra step, which is also helping
Mm,
direct your attention and so forth, but it's kind of an unnecessary thing. That direct experience, that initial direct experience, is really what is where the money is, as Angela would say.
mhm. Okay.
Yeah,
Word.
yeah, and I'm out.
Thanks,
Okay.
Lisa.
Thank you. Yeah.
Soto, I agree with what she said exactly. It's I might say a different way, like we don't realize how quickly the bounce happens. I feel it here, and then now I want to add a process to make sure I continue to feel what I already feel or something. That's how it sounded like just notice. And then she's right. Like staying with that direct experience is very powerful work, actually. And in one sense, at first, it's subtle work because the mind is not subtle. The mind is gross. It wants to turn things into processes and give something to contemplate and so forth. But this staying in the sensation, in one sense, is actually rather subtle. As she mentioned, you already noticed it. So then, do you
Yeah.
have to direct your attention to what you already notice, right? That's the
Right.
mind coming in with another layer of experience. And that other layer does have this feeling of like I can direct my attention around. And that's valuable to utilize if you're not here, right? When the sensation is clear, like, oh, it's just right there, staying there is really um, skillful means. Uh, the only thing I would add to that is if you're really curious about this here, see that also as a sensation, right?
Mm.
Because it probably has a sensational component and it may have
Mhm.
a image component. Like you can imagine
Mhm.
it. Like you obviously can't see the back of your head, but you
Right.
can visualize the back of your head. But that's not what
Yeah,
the sensation is. There's actually a sensation there too. I'm almost certain of it. Just
for
notice
sure.
what's the sensation and what's the thought. And with
Yeah.
time, if you really look at this precisely, you'll notice the thought always comes after. It's a bounce back into conceptuality. Same thing with the chest, same thing with the back of the head. So just notice like even that really is a sensation ultimately. And then if you're curious and if you kind of feel like you need a process because you bounce quickly or whatever at first,
Yeah.
the process would be, okay, well, notice the sensation here and the sensation here and see, do they actually, is there a demarcation? Does one actually suddenly turn into the other if you are moving your attention
Mhm.
somehow?
Mhm.
Or you
Mhm.
can even see like, is there intrinsic attention in it without having
Mhm.
to move anything? Is there
Mhm.
an intrinsic experience of attention that is the sensation itself? That's
Mhm.
not a directed attention that requires some kind of thought. That's where I
Yeah.
would go with it. Those kinds of very simple contemplations, if you need a contemplation or a process. Otherwise, resting your attention there is very valuable. And it will, with time, calm the mind. It will become clearer what we're saying that is actually primary.
Wow. Yeah, that's really helpful because I think that um, hearing about this idea of like, when a sensation comes up, just feel it, like just alone, without talking to somebody like you guys. I've always felt like I need to like get into the center of it somehow to truly be present with it or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that it's been that way for a while, and I've kind of conceptualized it as like there's a right place to put my attention, or there's a right way to use my attention.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but as you guys are saying, it's like, yeah, it is obvious that like without really focusing necessarily on either the part of the back of my head or my chest, like obviously I'm aware of it. Obviously they're still there for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it just kind of makes
Perfect.
everything a little more diffuse.
Yes, it does. Exactly. So what I was going to say is when you mentioned that you may feel something and then there's like an idea like, okay, I have to get more to the center of it. So there's a funny sort of inside joke there, and that is it doesn't have a center. I promise you it doesn't have a center, but it doesn't mean it's not there. The sensation is there. So the mind is trying to put it into a context it can relate to. Like 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 there's going to be more of that sensation. There's never going to be more of it. It's just there. It doesn't have a center, it doesn't have an edge, it's not coming, it's not going, it doesn't have a beginning or an end, it doesn't
Yeah.
have a meaning. It's just what it is. It's that simple, right? So catching those little
Yeah.
tricks of the mind that the mind's like, "Oh, let's do this better." Like the mind can't do
Right.
it better. It's just feeling, right?
Yeah, I
And
love
I
that.
go ahead,
Yeah.
Lisa.
I wanted to say one more thing too, because you mentioned talking about it with friends or running your feelings by people and them saying, "Oh, you're up in your head," so forth and so on. So, yeah, I think that there's a lot to be said for just holding on to your experience and working with it yourself, and not necessarily running it by your peers all the time. Like, learn to trust yourself, trust your feelings, trust your body, trust what's coming up for you, and keep it. Just keep it. Hold on and keep going.
Mhm. Thank you. I really
Conversation
appreciate
obviously
that.
is helpful, but it can be a
Yeah.
little confusing too, and not necessarily all that helpful all the time because everybody's just trying to
Yeah,
figure it out and everybody's experience is different.
for sure. And I think in those moments when I did go to my friends, I was like subtly seeking like a validation, like,
There
you
you
know what I'm saying?
go.
Almost like I want to do it almost like in a research way where it's
Right.
like you know what I'm saying? Like, does my experience match your experience? Like, let's test our hypothesis. But it really is kind of a personal thing, and it if
Yeah.
they're not even in the framework I'm in, it really gets lost through the
Yeah.
words, you know. So
Exactly. And
I
everybody
highly
seeks
appreciate what you guys
validation.
have said. No.
That's a very natural
Yeah.
movement of ours to seek validation. So catch that and say, am I looking for validation or do I really know what's going on with me? And let's just go from there.
Mhm.
You're the
Mhm.
one that knows more about you than anybody.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Thanks, Soto.
Thank you guys.
Okay, let's go to the top. Thomas.
Hi.
Hey, hey.
Um, First, I wanted to thank you for your clarity. You're so clear that it helps me a lot. So thank you for that.
Hmm.
So are you still hearing and seeing me? Because I'm
I hear you.
reading
I
on
just
my.
don't see you. Yeah, I hear you,
Okay.
just don't see you.
Okay. I'm gonna read on my phone my question and then I'm coming back to the
Okay.
camera. Um, So during last year online retreat in May, I think I had a real kind of breakthrough. I thought it was awakening. I realized that the thought I was another thought, and I was filled with joy for 3 days, and I couldn't sleep because I was so kind of aware of my thoughts and what was happening inside me, and I even lost interest in the concept, so to speak, of awakening. But it lasted only 3 days, so I guess it wasn't really it, and everything came back to normal. Weeks passed, and I kind of gave up meditation. I started focusing on earning more money and really materialistic stuff. And there wasn't really a shift in identity after these 3 days. So I don't know really what my question is, but what are I guess what are your thoughts about this, and if you have any advice or
Hmm. What does your instinct tell you that you want to do with this in this area of life?
um if I'm kind of divided because I can see that these days I'm really focusing on really things in the realm of matter, like stabilizing my life,
Hmm.
earning more money, thinking about my job and things like that. And at the same time, I kind of deep inside feel that it's not the real stuff, you know.
Hmm.
But I don't have so much so much motivation to meditate. I would like to, but at the same time I don't. So I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, my sense is trust yourself that if you need to develop yourself in the relative right now, that's fine. You know, if this is peripherally interesting to you, this type of stuff that we're doing, that's great too. If it starts to catch fire and it's like, okay, I finally did the thing, you know, I got the job I wanted and finished my degree and have a great relationship and nope, still didn't satisfy me. There's something really more fundamental I want to address, then that's great. So sometimes you have to go out and develop yourself in certain ways in life because your instinct tells you need to. Doesn't mean you give up on anything else. It's not an either or either. But it may not be at the forefront of your your sort of drive in life right now, and that's okay. That's the simplest way I could say it. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that, and at the same time, I'm telling myself that I'm just losing time. You know,
Yeah.
I'm just because it was like a fire before, and it was the most important thing in my life, the top priority. But uh, yeah, I'm still not there, so
Yeah.
I think my motivation dropped, and
Yep. This stuff happens. It's okay. This happens in this path. It's a very nonlinear path. There'll be times when
yeah.
you feel like super exuberant for realization or clarity or truth or whatever. There'll be times when you can't find that. But you have to be authentic, and you're being authentic, and that's what
Yeah.
matters. So let me ask you this. This first became the most important thing to you, right? But you just referenced that. Did you choose that to happen, or did it just happen? Did you like choose
No,
what could be the most of course
no,
you
it
find
just
you
happened.
find that's just the truth. Same thing here. If something, if that wants to happen again, it'll happen again. I almost certainly think it will. It's just not going to happen on a time frame that makes sense up here necessarily, because this is very nonlinear. But all of a sudden, it may really hit you like, oh gosh, okay, I see now. Sometimes you need a break from this stuff. Sometimes you need a break from seeking. Sometimes it's just a reset. Something hits the reset button, and things just reorganize themselves. Maybe you did have a shift in identity, and it's just reorganizing your experience of everything, but it's behind the scenes. Who knows? This is a rather mysterious process.
Mm. Yeah, thank you for that. I'm
Sure.
it helps.
You're welcome. Lisa, did you have anything else?
Well, yeah, I feel a little bit more strongly about it maybe than what Angelo has said, because something hit me like this as well. And um, so something that what happened to you was a deep and fundamental thing. And it's not going anywhere. It's just waiting. And only it has the time frame figured. I mean, there's no time in this. So there's no way that you can or cannot start or stop any of it. So, yeah, surrender to life, live life, let it tell you what to do next, because life is living you, not you it. And when this is ready to come back, it will come on with a fury, and you'll never be the same. You never have been since this happened, and you never will be again. Best of luck to you.
Thank you a lot.
Thank you so much, Thomas. Okay, we'll go to Maria.
Hello. Um, Man, I'm just feeling in the thick of it.
Hmm.
I've just been feeling intense feelings of being trapped. I'm like hitting this like helplessness, bottoming out in the shadow work that's like tied into agency and feeling like I have no agency, and memories of all of my life when I've had no agency, but then I've been blamed for not like speaking up, which is bringing up like a lot of shame around choice, or just, yeah, just like I just feel, and I feel trapped. I feel trapped. Like there's some strong, like shadow, young stuff, feeling trapped and like restrained and not vocalizing things. I feel trapped in time right now. I feel trapped in thoughts. Yeah, I'm just sick of it. Like, I'm just sick of everything. And there's like a part, it's like, oh, well, you're just in like one of these like shadow thing, whatever. But the last time I did that, I realized I was using that as like an excuse for not going right back to like the root of stuff, which was helpful. But now I'm like back in it, and I don't know, I just want out.
Hmm. Lisa, did you want to start, or would you like me to?
I'll make a few little comments here because I'm not sure I can say a whole lot about this other than saying I'm sick of it is a great place to be because you're getting fed up, you're getting
Yeah.
pissed off, you're getting angry, and that's
Yes.
when stuff starts happening.
Yeah.
So let me encourage you to say, okay, I am pissed off about this. I'm getting sick of it. I've had it. And just get all fed up with it and just see what happens. It's going to do what it does. But I would stick with that fed upness. I really want to encourage you to know this is probably a really good spot you're in. I don't know what Angelo has said, although I tend to think you might agree.
Okay. Yeah. So a few things come to me. You mentioned helplessness. You mentioned feeling stuck. You mentioned shame. And you mentioned not wanting to be here, or not wanting this to be the case, like fed up, feeling fed up. And I guess what I want to say is all of those are gifts. Um, but at the same time, all of them, if framed by thought, will feel terrible, especially if they come together. So
Yeah.
so the key to this to me is to slow down as much as you can and feel each one of them fully. Like, let me feel as stuck as I possibly can right now. Let me feel physically restrained. Let me just feel that. Like, move your body the way it needs to move to feel that. Feel it as fully as you can. Not trying to run away, get away, name it, talk about it with the mind. Just let your body completely feel that stuckness, you know? And when it'll settle a little bit. It may not go completely away, but it'll settle. You'll know, something in your body will know, okay, it's time to move from this. Then feel whatever comes next. And it may be the shame. And just feel as clearly as you can, feel that shame right now, fully. Like, how can I feel this? How can I hold this shame? How can I embody it? How can I, really not leave anything out? Where, and a lot of this is where it is in your body. Like, really track it and just feel into it, you know? And then the next thing that comes up, just go right into that as deeply as you possibly can. Whatever it is, let the experience lead. And this is the way I found to be the most skillful. To get so singular in each one of those experiences that what happens is we don't realize that just trying to be just a little bit out of any of these experiences creates this like inversion in the mind that's really uncomfortable. It's like trying to avoid the inevitable again and again and again with very intense emotions. So the only way out of this is through it, is to go like, okay, I'm going to feel stuck right now completely. Have I ever really completely felt stuck as possible? Maybe, but let me see if I can feel it just a little, 1 degree closer now. 1 degree, just fully really feel that. Feel how stuck this is, and give yourself time with each of those. That's really my advice with this.
Yeah, I mean that is part of what I'm doing. Like right now, I know I'm like even hanging back as like a protective mechanism from feeling like
Mhm.
what I'm feeling right now.
Hanging
And
back,
yeah, like
feel
like
into hanging back fully, not mentally, but physically. What does hanging back feel like? Is it an energetic expansion,
no, it's a retreat. It's like a
a
complete
retreat?
retreat.
Okay. All right. From what?
Being judged.
Okay. Hmm. Can you feel what it feels like to be judged? Just find it in your body to be judged. And we're not trying to conclude anything here. We're just really just exploring. Feel that sense of the one who is judged.
Yeah, I just feel like small and
Hmm.
downward.
Yep. Hmm. And where is it most prominent in your body? Head, neck, chest, gut?
Head and then gut.
Hmm. Yeah. And when you feel into the head and gut, those sensation fields, do you find that there's a link between them through the body, or do you find that they're
Yeah.
like cut off from one another?
No, everything's all like
Good.
morphine or
Hmm.
what I don't know, mist.
Good.
More.
Yeah. Do you see that you're smiling? Do you feel that energy? Why is that?
Yes. I know I need to go here. It is just, it's like I'll be caught up in daily obligations, and a lot of this is like
Yeah.
not having a voice because of social norms. And
Yeah.
so it's like when I want to go there is when it's not appropriate. Like
Yeah.
scream in a coffee shop or like really lose it while I'm supposed to be like watching my toddler.
Yeah.
And then it's like it feels like things are like I'm out of sync, I'm out of phase with like life, and I'm putting it in time,
Hmm.
and it's like I'm waiting until it's more appropriate.
Hmm.
Sucks.
Well, are you sure you're doing all that, or is that your mind just kind of, going, "Hey, you're doing all this wrong."
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Because I just watched you do it, and I watched you actually transform. I watched you laugh and smile. There's joy in there too. There's
Yeah.
all these emotions are there: glad, mad, sad, fear, and joy. They're all there. But when we have something trying to manage them in a chronic, sometimes unconscious way that's based on trauma, that's what feels so uncomfortable. It's not the presence of any of these experiences that's uncomfortable, I promise. It's that there's something in the system trying to manage them, and it's actually suppressing your joy. Your joy is also there. You can find it. You just keep feeling through all of these, and you're not trying to find joy to exclude anything else. But the lack of joy may be what's the most uncomfortable for you.
Yeah,
That it's
probably.
there. It's there.
Yeah, that and just feeling like I have to be it's like the restraining is the feeling of being trapped. It's like
Hmm.
maybe it's hard to put my finger on, but like I know the resistance isn't where I want to go, but like gosh, it just feels like overwhelming.
Hmm. The
And
resistance. Can you find it right now? Can you just feel as much resistance as possible? There you go. Feel it. Feel it. Feel it. Feel it. Feel it. Feel it. Go right to it. Right to it. Stay with it. You're doing awesome. Stay with it and breathe. Just add some breath to this. Just slow breathing. Breathe so that that breath helps you stay in tune with the body and all the body centers that are feeling this. Yeah. That resistance. Can you find a tiny bit of love for the resistance itself? Because it's just a life energy.
yes, totally.
Good. Yes. Awesome. Little bit of compassion. That's all you just add a little compassion and just feel it. Like, yes, yes, this is here. This is resistance. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. You have a tremendous capacity to feel. It's obvious to me.
Yeah.
This is your gift. This is your medicine, actually.
Oh,
This is your
man,
gift.
it feels it's intimidating.
Hmm.
I realize I've repressed a lot of anger.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
man, it's like I'm afraid of what happens when that really gets let loose. And
Do you have an outlet for it that's healthy, that's therapeutic,
yeah, I
whatever?
mean, yeah, I'm having a retreat in May.
Hmm.
I've been joining some of Rick's circles online,
Oh,
and
good.
like they hasn't been picked to me. And
Hmm.
then yeah, my husband's super supportive, trying to I feel like I'm doing all the things I can do.
Okay. Hmm. Yeah. Just keep exploring those emotions. Just keep
Yeah.
exploring those emotions. It is literally, I mean, I'm just feeling what I'm feeling. This, my instinct is literally your gift. Like you have a gift for this, actually. But often where our medicine is or where our gift is often the most shadowy part of ourselves until we really unlock it. And you're going to unlock it just by feeling it again and again and showing yourself you have far more capacity to feel all this than you realize. Right? It's the people that traumatized us that may convince us we don't have the capacity because they didn't.
Mm, okay. That's really
Hmm.
helpful.
Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Have you read the book, The Deepest Acceptance by Jeff Foster?
No.
It's really good. I recommend it. It's really good for this kind of work. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. Nice exploring all that with you. I could feel it as we were going along.
Appreciate it. Very appreciate it. Thank you.
You're so welcome. You're so
Yeah.
welcome. Hmm. Yeah. Okay.